Welcome back to another episode of the Boro4Boro podcast, where we take a bite out of the Big Apple real estate scene. We're back for an exciting episode where we're going to go deep into real estate financing. Now, it's 2026, and there's a lot of reason for optimism on the real estate market. But if you're someone who's interested in getting into the market and want to be able to figure out how do you even get the money to be able to do so, we have an extra special guest who's going to help us talk a little bit more about that. But as always, I'm Matthew Winter.
I'm Scotty Cabrera.
Tracy Byers.
Isaiah Ojala.
And we are joined today by Welby Accely, better known as @mybest197 on Instagram.
Welcome to the show.
So Welby, first off, thank you for joining us.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit more about your journey into real estate. You've been doing this, if I understand correctly, over 20 years.
Yes, sir.
So safe to say you're an expert, right?
I humbly speaking, real estate is just a passion. I'm not here to say I'm an expert or not. What I talk about is what I actually do, and what I share with people is what I actually live, and I think that should be good enough, right? So
100%.
So who is Welby?
Welby, Welby, I'm a first generation Haitian American. I'm a twin brother.
Okay.
I have a twin brother. My parents had a total of 5 boys. I'm a passionate, loving, no nonsense, caring, good-hearted brother, I would like to believe, you know.
Okay.
And what drives people to me is because of the passion that I have for real estate. Real estate's changed my life. Yeah. And I speak on it with such passion, and I'm sure we'll get into all of that because I know what it's done for me, what it's done for my family. And I have a problem when I see people playing with it.
Yeah.
And, so.
Where's that passion rooted in? Like, what got you started where you're like, this is my thing? Or did you fall into it?
Well, I got introduced to real estate at the age of 7 indirectly by my godfather. My godfather, he was affluent in the space of real estate, but I didn't understand how affluent because I was only 7 years old. So me and my family grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, in Canarsie Projects. So my godfather used to come and visit my mother and visit us, and would come and pick me and my brothers up to come and hang out with him in Long Island. So he was always nicely dressed, drove a nice car. So I couldn't put my finger on it, but there was just something different about the way that he lived versus the way that we lived. So when I would go to Long Island, what influenced me, believe it or not, was the ability to be able to ride my bike freely. Right in the street. Right. And you don't think that that's such a big deal, but growing up in the projects with Haitian parents, my parents were overly protective, and we would only be able to ride our bikes in the cul-de-sac. So then imagine going to the suburbs and then having your godfather tell you, free range.
Right.
It blew my mind.
Right. Yeah.
And then over that period of time, I just started picking up tidbits of it, that he was a broker, he had his own brokerage, he had 1 or 2 rentals. So even though he never directly taught me about real estate, it influenced me when I got to the age of about 19 years old, is when that seed that he planted started sprouting, because at that point I was going to John Jay College to be a lawyer. And if anybody understands the Caribbean, especially Haitians, Jamaicans, if you're not a lawyer, you're not a doctor, you're not a nurse, you're a bum. You're not successful. So I was going to school to do that, and it just wasn't for me. And then when I spoke with someone and understood what the depth I was going to be involved to the monies that I was going to be making, it wasn't going to be working for me. So I stopped doing that, and then I became a security guard, making minimum wage, and I just wanted to figure something out. I didn't know what. I just wanted to figure something out. And I did a couple of things. I was always a hustler. I was doing a whole bunch of things, but real estate kept calling me. Nice. And then I eventually got into it sometime around late 2003. I got into it right with the subprime era. So with the subprime era, and then what we seeing happening today in 2026 is so much parallel to what's going on. Sure. But then unfortunately, a lot of the people that have no experience or limited experience, when they see me on social media, and when you tap into me, and when you see the aggression, when you see the passion, when you hear what I have to say, you're trying to understand why. But if you understand the hell that I've been through in this business, you'd have the passion too.
Got it.
So I got wiped out 3 times in this business to 0. I got wiped out in 2008. I got wiped out in 2010. I got wiped out in 2012. I got taken advantage of by the people in this business that's supposed to take care of you. So when I say to the people, you, and I speak to the camera, I'm talking about the most important person in the entire equation of investing in real estate. People don't want to hear when I say it, but the most important person is you, the qualified buyer. The person that pays everybody. If the qualified buyer isn't qualified or the qualified investor isn't qualified to get funded or qualified to purchase, nobody at this table can make money. So I didn't understand my power, so I got taken advantage of by the realtors. No disrespect to realtors, I'm just saying what happened.
Well, we're some of the best, by the way.
Right.
Oh, I believe it. That's why I'm here.
The reality is there's bad actors and everything.
Absolutely.
So it's, 100%.
So I got it taken advantage of by the contractors. I got taken advantage of by the mortgage lenders.
Right.
So a lot of the stuff that happened during the subprime era is what happened during the new era of real estate growth that was exploding in 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23. So a lot of the stories that I get told, a lot of the things that I get reached out about, it brings back those memories of what I've been through.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and those things had me suicidal.
Yeah.
Those things had me feeling less of a man. Those things had me feeling like a bum, a failure, because I kept trying, and I kept failing, even though I was making some money. Right? And I thought that the ability to buy was sufficient. I thought that the ability to get to the closing table was sufficient enough. But then like a lot of people today that already bought properties that recently purchased, they already owned the property. Then 6 months later, when the euphoria is gone of owning, you ask them the question, how do you like that deal? Talk to me. Tell me between you and I, how do you like it? Man, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Exactly. So I want to try to help as many people as possible to avoid that because real estate allowed me to go from a first-generation Haitian American with barely nothing to a multimillionaire today.
Right.
You couldn't have told me that was possible, so would it change my life? Of course I'm going to be passionate about it and want to help as many people as possible.
So let me ask you this question then. Obviously, it seemed like you've been ran through the gambit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure your finances, your credit would have been hit.
Of course.
So in today's market, right, how did you go about working on your finances or working on your credit and on your finances to today getting financing from, I'm assuming you're going to use like hard money lenders
I use
mortgages.
hard money, I use private money, and then now I'm at a point now I finance my own deals.
So talk about that process of getting financed by the hard money lender.
Well, if we go back to what I was saying about my story, at the time when I first started buying real estate, I was already at a 700 credit score, 730 credit score. Right. And a lot of people have this passion to want to have a 700 or 800 credit score, but why? Most of the time, people just want to have it as a bragging conversation of having an 800 credit score, but 800 credit score means nothing if you're not going to do anything with it. Absolutely. So when I had the 700 credit score, I did what they called at that time, like they have today, basically a no-doc loan. As long as you had a pulse, you were getting a loan. 106% financing is what I was receiving. So at the time when I had the 700 credit score, I didn't have to do nothing but sign. And I bought myself what everybody tells people to do today. Don't buy yourself a single-family home. Buy yourself a multifamily property. The same rhetoric that gets people in trouble. Right? So that's what I did. So when I bought the property, I didn't understand property evaluation. I didn't understand cash flow. I didn't understand management. I thought that the win was having the ability to buy, like everybody's doing today. So when I bought the property, there's a whole bunch that happened in between, but the contractor screwed me. The realtor represented to me a certain amount of cash flow that the property was going to do. But of course, everything is great until you sign and you buy, and then the day that I bought, it was half of what was projected. So the net cash flow I expected never happened. So what I was doing at that immediately was now I was fighting for my economic life, which included my credit. Because why? I'm working, the property's not cash flowing enough, so who got to come up with the difference? No one talked about tenants not paying rent. Nobody talked about roof leaking. Nobody talked about broken heaters. So if the property's barely cash flowing and it's coming out of my pocket, what do you think is happening? coming out of my pockets. I'm spending the money. So from day one, I'm fighting for my life, my economic life. So then what starts happening 2 years later, what do they normally teach people to do after owning a property for a year or 2 years?
Refinance.
You notice how we all went to the same school? So I went to the same school, I refinanced. And when I refinanced, I don't care about interest rates. I'm gonna answer your question in a second. Interest rates mean nothing to me. It's about the deal because the deal absorbs everything else. But when I refinanced robotically because that's what I was told to do.
Sure.
So if I already got a property that's not cash flowing and then I refinance, the odds are more so than not my situation gets worse, not better.
Right.
So now that my situation got worse after the refinance, I had to make a decision because now I have tenants not paying, I have issues happening, and now I'm financially strapped. I had to make a decision on I'm going to eat or I'm going to pay the rent while I'm living here or we're going to be out in the street. So I had to stop paying the mortgage. I stopped paying the mortgage and now what starts happening, I start getting hits on my credit. So the same credit that was a 700, 730, this property that I was fighting for the next 3-4 years ends up getting to the foreclosure table. Ultimately, it gets foreclosed on. So now the property that I bought at the time for $220,000 that was supposedly worth $300,000 but never was worth $300,000 that I refinanced to $240,000, I lost it to foreclosure for $60,000. Wow. So the person that bought that property is the man that I am today. But my score went from a 730 to a 500. I got wiped out.
Did you have to file bankruptcy?
I didn't have to file bankruptcy because thankfully I didn't because that's where the next set of vultures come. File for bankruptcy. So people that are running for the bankruptcy court, come see me.
I think that's a perfect opportunity for us to go to break because this is a masterclass right now.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break and we're going to hear a word from our sponsor, Roma DeBoss. And when we come back, Welby's going to tell us about bankruptcy and a little bit more about how today to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
Because as you're saying, it's a cycle, but there's a lot of lessons that you have that those at home who are thinking about it definitely want to hear.
Absolutely.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
From residential and commercial closings to litigation, Romer DeBoss is your full-service real estate law firm. We blend big firm knowledge with boutique-level attention, delivering outcomes that exceed every expectation. Contact us at romerdeboss.com.
I'm Brian Scott Cohen, one of the top loan originators in the country, and the #1 mortgage originator at Guaranteed Rate Infinity. Guaranteed Rate Infinity arguably has the most advanced tech in the industry. Our completely digital loan process makes it easy and efficient for homeowners, from a 15-minute pre-approval to the digital application and through closing. My team and I would love to help you get into the home of your dreams.
All right, welcome back to an episode of Boro4Boro. So right before the break, we were talking with Welby about how in 2008, 2010, and in 2012, he had a lot of struggles in the real estate business. And here he is in 2026 with so much gems that you at home would want to know if you're thinking about getting the market. So Welby, right before we were talking about bankruptcy and how that can affect you getting in or potentially not being able to get into real estate.
Wait, before you answer that, I'm so sorry. Before we went to the break, I had a question, right?
Sure.
You said you had you went from 700 credit to a 500 credit.
Yeah.
So then how did you then go about getting finances? Because obviously banks, hard money lenders, they wouldn't want to touch you, right?
That's right.
And obviously now you're a multimillionaire, you've got multiple properties. So how did you make that switch? What did you have to do?
Well, at the time, I didn't understand the true value of credit. I had it, but I didn't know the true value. So when the credit got destroyed, I needed to fix my credit. So a lot of times people need to fix their credit, but instead of fixing their credit, they're spending their money frivolously on other things, trying to find a get-rich-quick scheme.
Sure.
Right.
So unfortunately and unfortunately, at the time when those things occurred that I described, my twin brother was experiencing the exact same thing because, you know, I tend to have a line of people that will, I don't want to say follow me, but trust me.
Right.
So a lot of people followed me to what I was doing, and we all got wiped out.
Wow.
My brother developed a passion for credit and credit repair, and he learned the game of that. So when that occurred and I got wiped out and he got wiped out, he fixed my credit for
Nice.
me. So there's legal ways of fixing your credit. So my credit that went from a 730 to a 500, once you understand the game and you understand the game right, I was back up within 6 to 8 weeks. I was back up to 800.
Nice.
Wow.
So I had an 800 credit score and I was ready to go back and go outside and play again.
But was this in 2010 or was this in 2012?
Oh, this was in 2010. Shortly after 2010
Okay.
is when it occurred. But then in 2010, the reason why I got wiped out is because I didn't understand the game. I
Right.
thought,
Understand. You
and
were
mind
fresh.
you now, during the last few years, everybody of recent years,
Right.
everybody's a superstar.
Right.
Yeah.
Every realtor, every contractor's a superstar.
Yeah. Right.
Just watch what's gonna happen in the next coming few months. Just watch. That's what happened in 2010. All you had to do was throw crap to the wall and you're gonna make money. So all I had to do was throw crap to the wall and I was making money. I didn't understand how to sustain it. That's why I lost it all again.
Right.
You get? And when I say lost it all, it doesn't necessarily mean foreclosures and everything, but I was negative. I was taking the hit,
Right.
but I was protecting my credit.
Yeah.
Okay?
So basically, you didn't have a mentor at this time.
I've never had a mentor.
You were just teaching yourself the ropes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I guess YouTube probably came out around
Never.
there, right?
YouTube did nothing.
Yeah.
YouTube did nothing. And
No
here's the
YouTube
thing.
University.
And here's the thing.
Because now you can watch all of these
You can watch
can watch
educational
it every
videos. Welby
second
on
video.
You
Yeah.
can learn you can watch YouTube about heart surgery.
Right.
I'm not gonna go to you.
That's
So
true.
anybody can watch. But as I was speaking with Scott outside, whatever you want to know and learn is out there, right? But my mother is a great cook. My mother gives me all the ingredients to one of her specialties that she makes, every ingredient, and I cannot make it taste the same. You understand? So I would encourage people to get a mentor, but unfortunately for me, I didn't have one. Till this day, I still haven't had one. I've made good friends with some of the people that you guys have interviewed, and it kind of overflows because we pour into one another.
Right.
But my mentorship was from the school of hard knocks. So what I talk about is what I've done, what I've been through, you know? So as far as your question, you were saying again, what was the question again? I'm so sorry.
Well, no. Specifically talking about now that you went through all of that,
Yeah.
now we're in 2026, and
Yes.
there's a lot of things that you said
Yes.
are rightfully so, very similar.
Yes.
But now you're equipped with all this knowledge.
Yes.
So someone at home who may see a lot of these opportunities, how are they going to be able to navigate through it, even if there's more media now than ever to be able to learn?
I would highly encourage people to educate themselves because people sleep on the importance of the education, right? I would highly encourage you to get yourself a mentor.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they diluted the importance of mentorship with all of the BS that's happened, with all of these fly-by-night educators on, you name it, not just real estate, right? If you go on the internet, you notice how the internet is quiet today. What happened to them?
Yeah.
I'm probably more louder now than I ever was, maybe because of the noise stopped and you just hear my noise, because what I'm speaking on is what I'm doing. I don't care what the market is doing. I don't care if it's an up market, down market, seller's market, buyer's market. It don't matter because the fundamentals is applicable across the board. Right? So I would encourage somebody to do a mentor, have a mentor, but if you don't have a mentor, make sure that you're self-disciplined enough to educate yourself properly, because what you're not willing to invest, and I'm talking money, economically, what you're not willing to invest in your education, I guarantee you're going to lose it 20, 30 times over in the real world. I guarantee it. So I would highly encourage somebody to get themselves a mentor, because that's going to shorten the learning curve of what took me 22 years to be here. This is not a shameless plug. I'm just being honest with you. To see what I see, the people that tapped in with me, they doing what it took me 22 years in a year and a half, 2 years.
Do you think that back in those days, were you on to like the Robert Kiyosaki's, like were you reading those type of books, like about investing and learn?
Great
did that
question.
help?
Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book was an amazing book, but I didn't really understand the essence of the book until my fifth read. I was reading it to say I read it.
Sure.
Just like any other book, you have a lot of people that does books, just like you have a lot of people that are professional students. They go to school so that it's a talking point at the water cooler that they go into school, but you accomplishing nothing.
Yeah.
So I was doing a lot of busy work. I wasn't accomplishing anything. I was that guy that would be at the water cooler and I talk a whole lot of, I'm gonna keep it clean, SHI. I would talk a whole lot and it sounded good.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything. One day, someone who had no business in real estate turned to me and said to me, someone I respected, an elder, and said, yo, bro, come here. Went over there and he says, man, you need to shut the F up. When I tell you he stunned me, and he says, I'm saying this to you, little bro, from love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been watching you, and you talk. And you do nothing. And it stunned me because the reality was people that do that on whatever level, they know that they do it too. And I was believing my own BS.
Right.
And I was absorbing my own BS.
Right.
And the reality was I wasn't putting in the work. I really wasn't putting in the work. So what changed my life was on the last wipeout of being wiped out, my name getting destroyed, my credit getting destroyed, losing all of my money. It wasn't that I didn't have the resources because the majority of people in America, we're in the greatest country on this planet. I don't care what nobody say. We're in the greatest country on this planet. You have an opportunity and you use it, you could do whatever you want, right? The reality was I never bet on me.
Right.
I was always betting on everybody else. So the reality is when you have a conversation with somebody and you peel off all of the layers, take away the Louis Vuitton bags and the Rolexes and the cars and peel it, you start to realize you ain't never really bet on you either. You were betting on what somebody else said. I never bet on me. So all the times I was effing up my credit, messing up the purchases and everything was because I was looking for the get-rich-quick scheme. What changed my life, I said, you know what? When I got wiped out the last time, I lost money, but I was cut a check of $90,000, but I was down.
Right.
So when I got that check of $90,000, I come back and to go visit my parents. And my parents now, you got to understand, my father's been watching his son getting his butt served for over a decade. He's been watching his son get served. And on that last deal, I got wiped out again. And my father's like, hey, Welby, what's going on with that property? I was like, no, Welby, what's going on with that property? I said, yo, Dad, I messed up again.
Right.
So my father says to me, like most parents, yo, bro, you give up now, right? You done, right? And I was like, nah. I say this every time I get goosebumps when I say it.
Yeah.
I said, nah, Dad, I know what to do now. He said, what do you mean you know what to do? I said, yo, I know what to do now. I took that $90,000. I said, yo, if anybody's going to F this money up, it's going to be me. I'm going to bet this 90 on me. I turned that $90,000 into an 8-figure real estate portfolio.
Wow.
Right?
Dope.
And in the time frame that it took me to do it from the time that I was working on it, I became a millionaire finally in 18 months from that period of time.
Wow.
Right? And then the fundamentals and the discipline that was needed is what I use on everything that I do till today.
Right.
So I hope I answered your question.
Nah, you more than answered it, brother. That was perfect. And actually, before we do that, we're gonna take one last commercial break, and when we come back, you said something that's important, but I want to go a little bit deeper because you said we should find mentors, but it's so easy, and there's so many talking heads, and there's so many people out there that 90% are probably BS. So when we come back from this break, I want you to explain to us, how do you decipher who is the right mentor, and what are the things that if they're looking out for themselves, what are the metrics, what are the numbers, and what are the things that you would do today if you were starting over? So we'll be right back. Don't you move. And when we come back, we're going to go deeper into that.
Hi, I'm Dylan Pachulik, CEO of XL Real Property Management, New York's most trusted name in luxury property management since 2012. We specialize in managing individual apartments, townhouses, and rental buildings held by absentee owners. We maintain our properties with the highest standards of quality and service so that owners can choose a hassle-free approach to real estate investing. Rented or owner-occupied, we handle it all. For more information, contact us at xl-rpm.com.
Hi, it's Stephen Bailey from Roadway Moving and Storage. Listening to Vince Rocco, you know the right partner makes all the difference. At Roadway, we deliver an experience your clients will love. For specialized services and white glove care, choose Roadway. Want to learn more? Email me at steven@roadwaymoving.com or visit roadwaymoving.com.
Welcome back to Boro4Boro. So right before the break, Welby, we were talking about mentorship. Yeah. And you said you didn't have a mentor. And now we're in 2026 and everyone has a phone. Everyone, unfortunately, now has a microphone. And there's a lot of people out there who can and are becoming really good at being able to show that they do a lot, but are probably BS. So for someone at home who hears you loud and clear and they're like, all right, well, Welby said I got to find me a mentor. The person with the biggest Instagram following is probably a good mentor, right? Or wrong?
No.
So how does someone actually find the right person to be a mentor? And then how are they going to build their team around that?
Well, I would suggest that you would make them prove it.
Okay. But what does that look like? What does proving it look like?
You're my mentor. You say you want to be my mentor. You say that you own real estate. You say that you're making $10,000 a month. Prove it to me. Show me that property that's making X amount of money. Show me the mortgage statement. Show me the deed to that property. Show me what's the net income after all expenses is paid. It's just that simple. The reason why I talk that way, because I do that with my mentees. I tell my mentees, or I tell people on the line, don't believe a word I tell you. Make me prove it. I got $10,000. If I'm lying, capping, making it up, I got $10,000 for you. I'll send you the money right away. Anytime I talk about my cash flow, I got the property attached to it to justify why I say I make X amount of money. So make them prove it to you. You understand?
That makes
sense. So that's what I would say. And it's not that difficult. A quick Google search, you'd be surprised what you can pull from that. Then there's other platforms that you could utilize or other cross-references that you can utilize to verify what someone is claiming. Make them prove it to you instead of letting them flash the Rolex or flash the Ferrari in your face and then you thinking that that's sufficient enough because there's a great chance that it's rented anyways. So, yeah. Mine isn't though, by the way.
Or else he got $10,000 for you.
All right.
I got you.
So we spoke a little bit outside, and you mentioned you had a starting five, and I'm guessing they all contribute to the success of you today, right?
100%.
Who are those players on the
So the starting five, the most important five members on your team. Well, of course, you, obviously, right? And I'm talking about the qualified buyer and or the investor, the number one person, right? So the first person that's on your team is going to be your lender, hard money lender, general mortgage company, your mom, your dad, whoever.
Whoever's financing.
Whoever's financing. That's number one. Number two is going to be your realtor. Your realtor is very vital because your realtor, if your realtor understands you, your concept and what you want as an investor is your boots on the ground. I don't have to physically do nothing. The way I school you on the game, I do it from the comfort of my cell phone. I run a multi-million-dollar business from my cell phone. Right. And I let the people that work for me do their job. The third person is going to be your contractor. Your contractor is going to verify what is it that you perceive that it's going to cost you to do whatever it is that you're looking to do with that property. Whatever it is, you're going to renovate it, you're going to flip it, whatever you're going to do. The contractor is going to do that. The third person is going to be your accountant. What is your accountant going to do? Your accountant's going to make sure Uncle Sam gets paid. Your accountant's going to help you with a strategy to minimize your tax liability, keep things in order. And the last but not least is going to be your attorney. What does your attorney do? Protect you. So you want to make sure all your T's and your I's are crossed. What I also educate people on doing is you never go to a one-stop shop that has it all. You never do that. You make sure you separate these people and you have a checks and balance system where you have them all working together for you collectively, but separate. Because when you go to a one-stop shop, guess what they're doing when you're not in the room? They're all having a conversation about you on how to maximize the monies that they can pull out and then for whatever questions that you might have, because everybody has those questions that doesn't feel right, but you don't know how to properly articulate it.
Right.
So because you don't, they'll have that conversation of how do they give it to you sweet so you could swallow it until it's too late.
Right.
And when I speak like this, man, when I'm talking dire, this is not a game, people. This is not a game. This real estate, if it's going to be for your primary residence or for your investment, is going to be the number one investment strategy of an American. It's the number one investment strategy of an American.
Right.
So why are you having an attitude like you'll figure it out as you go? I got a no nonsense attitude about this shit.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. You said in your starting 5, you've got your contractor.
Yes.
Right? Speak about how important the contractor is in reference to you, like borrowing money and getting your money.
That's really, really good question.
Paying back your lenders.
Really, really,
and
really
how do you
good
stay on
question.
top of them?
Now, with these starting 5 members, if you don't understand how to control, lead, and direct them, you're dead in the water. So you need to learn how to control, lead, and direct them. Here's the beautiful thing about it. What's the common denominator of all 5 of those people that we just finished talking about?
You.
No. They're all licensed. What's amazing? I ain't gotta be. So you hold them accountable respectfully, treat them respectfully, right? But you let them do their work. Now, everything's gonna always start with you, the investor and or the qualified buyer. So you have to have the ability here.
Right.
So when you're talking about the contractor is later, because first it starts here with the ability to properly evaluate. Because how are you gonna know if you got a deal or not if you don't know how to properly evaluate to make sure you're not overpaying? So that all starts there. Once you understand how to properly evaluate, everything comes after. You present it to your hard money lender or your mortgage lender. What's the first thing they're gonna ask you?
What's the ARV?
Notice how we all went to the same school? What is the ARV? If you stay quiet enough and listen, you're gonna hear the keyboards going.
And just so those who don't know who are watching, ARV, after repair value.
Correct.
So
Correct.
we got a lot of different audiences.
Correct. So that's the starting point.
Right.
An ARV of a property, land, commercial space, everything is the starting point of an evaluation. Without it, you can't properly evaluate.
So wait, let me ask you a question then, because we were speaking to Jude a little while ago, right? And you said you need to stay on top of your realtor.
Yes.
Your realtor is probably going to present you the deal.
Correct.
And they're going to give you numbers
Correct.
that are going to make the property look enticing for
Correct.
you. How do you make sure that the ARV is truly what the realtor is presenting?
You don't just take at face value what the realtor claimed.
Right.
The realtor got to prove it.
Right.
So if you say that the ARV is XYZ, show me where you came with that.
And that's going to be in comps, sales.
Correct. You have to build that relationship because unfortunately, most realtors don't know what the hell they're doing.
That's true.
Go on my Instagram. You guys do.
It's true.
You guys do. But most realtors do not understand what they're doing.
Right.
They only understand how to sell to the highest bidder.
100%.
A lot of times realtors get, I don't want to say offended, but it hurts their feelings until we have a real serious conversation about that.
Right.
They say that, damn, he's not lying. The realtor works for you.
Yeah.
But a lot of the realtors convince you that they're doing you a favor. You tell them what you want, and then they'll tell you that when you start to learn the game, most of the realtors are never going to want to work with you because they want the least path of resistance they want to work with. They want someone to say, what do you think? And then just do as that person says.
Right.
So you want that realtor to present to you whatever they claim the comps are, and then they provide it to you and they prove it to you. Once you start to build that relationship and a rapport with a realtor, because of course, too, the realtor might be a little bit apprehensive too, because, you know, they get a lot of tire kickers. They know somebody wastes their time.
Sure.
All you got to do is make some money together.
Yeah.
Once you make some money together and the realtor knows, my realtors, I call them, they know what's up.
Yeah.
They know that I'm not going to waste their time. They already know. They got an opportunity. They say, man, I know Welby's going to buy it. So then the rapport is different. So then now if they do present me something, I might not fact check it that much more deeper because there's a level of trust and because we understand the market. I'm sure you guys know all your markets, right? Yeah. I bet you somebody throws you something real quick, you could already it's going to, because you already know your market. Right. So once you understand and you build your stamina up in that way, then we can start playing those games. But at the beginning of a startup, we can't play games like that.
Right. So have you ever come across a situation where there's a property which you just like, there's an emotional attachment to it? Maybe it's in Canarsie, you grew up in Canarsie.
Yes.
But it maybe doesn't meet the right credentials financially. The ARV isn't there. How do you go about that one?
Well, okay, if it don't work for me, I'm not forcing it, one. But two, here's another thing, too. People got to learn to stay in their lane, right? Because some of the things I'm going to be able to do today or some of the rules I'm going to be able to bend today doesn't mean that anyone else can do that yet. Right. So now my portfolio generates me tens of thousands of dollars in net income a month. Net income, not gross, net income. So I might see a property like you said, and it might be next to a property I currently own, and then the seller is probably selling it for a little bit more than I'm willing to pay. Right. But because of the fact that that's not the one property I'm buying, I'm tying all my money into that one property, and then that property's cash flowing me $30 a month. I'm already making tens of thousands of dollars a month. I already got 15 other properties doing X amount. I look at that property as the new kid on the block, and the other properties I own got to take care of their little brother. That's how I look at it. Because the money's already there to do it. So I've done it, and then the benefits of it was worth it. Right. But you got too many people doing that now, just starting out.
With only one property, right?
Yes, with one property, and then it's dangerous. They're utilizing FHA, which I tell a lot of people, be careful. They're using VA, which I tell a lot of people, be careful. They're using NACA, which I tell a lot of people, be careful. I didn't say don't use it. But the end result of what you're looking for, most of the time you're not getting it. So now you're a hardworking person, you and your husband or spouse is making $80,000 a year between the two of you guys. It took you guys 12 years of your life to save up $80,000. Where are you going to get another $80,000? You're not. So you're going to take that money, and now you're going to do a 3.5%, 5% down payment, so now you wiped yourself out.
Right. Call that house poor.
Correct? So now you're convinced because, well, listen, you're going to be making X amount. By the time, blah, 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 you're going to make $500 a month. And then you get convinced to do it because it's supposed to be a surplus. Right. It's not a surplus. Right. That's where a lot of people get duped. You're not a surplus. What you're doing is recouping. So if it costs you $80,000, and you're making $500 a month, so long as everything goes good, you're making $6,000 a year. Right. $6,000 a year divided by that $80,000, how long is it going to take you to recoup that money? So the whole time you never made no money. Right. Then you get convinced, well, the property appreciated. No, it didn't.
You're playing catch up.
You're playing catch up. The property didn't appreciate. Factor in your mortgage payment, your interest payment, your insurance payment, and everything. By the time you even get to the appreciation, you made no money. Right. That's why a lot of what people are expecting to get at the end of that rainbow of buying, they realize that it's not there because of what they did at the beginning. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Right. So all of those products are great. They're doable. It could be used if you understand how to use them and how to maximize what you was expecting out of it.
Right. So what would you recommend someone start? Like, what is a good, let's say, formula, right, to at least get themselves on the books, on the table to invest?
Educating yourself, because what you want is...
Meaning, like, what type of property?
Correct, because you have to be clear on what is it that your long-term goals are. You have to be able to go from a macro point of where you at today to the macro point of where you're looking to be to the micro point of where you at today. What a lot of people don't realize is that when they first start, they already wipe themselves out. You understand that the average quote-unquote homeowner investor owns 2.4 properties in their lifetime. You understand that the average person that owns the 2.4 in their lifetime lives hand to mouth. They're not wealthy. Right. So that's why what this guy Zoran Mandani is talking about and everything else like that, he don't know what the hell he's talking about. He's tugging on people's emotions with why people are reacting that way. So now, if your goal is you just want a beautiful home for you and your family, and you want it to supplement, and you're satisfied with the income that you're making, whatever you're doing, you're a janitor, you're an attorney, you're whatever, bravo. I'll be the first person to applaud you if that's what you say you want. Now, most of the people that are approaching me and you are saying, I want to be an investor. Well, if you want to be an investor, why'd you buy that property? Because you understand that that property is the foundation to what you're doing. What most people don't realize is that normally by the time they get to the third property, they wiped out. Why? Because the first property that they bought, odds are more than not, they paid too much for it. They didn't factor in the proper rehabbing work or anything else like that. They didn't factor all that in. So now they got the property and they're like this. Yeah. You know what they focused on? The interest rate. Well, I got a 3% or I got a 5% or whatever the crap that they focused on. So, okay, they got that property. So now they own that property. Okay, cool, the property appreciated. Good for you, the property appreciated. Appreciation is icing on the cake. It's not a guarantee. You're gambling.
Right.
I don't wait for appreciation. I force appreciate all my properties. So the appreciation that the average person is waiting for that's going to take them at least 8 to 12 years to see, I'm doing it in 6 months for the same property.
Right.
So now that they finish doing that, they're going to then get taught, take the equity from that property, home equity line, refi, whatever you want to do, tie it to the second property. Cool, do that. By the time you do that, guess what ends up happening? It balances itself out because you extracted the money from that property you already paid too much for. You put it into the second property. The second property, you use that as a down payment to buy it. Now, by the time you add the two of them together, you're not making no money. So now you got 2 properties and now you got a 7-figure quote-unquote portfolio making no money. What are we doing this for if we're not making any money? And then now you get convinced to do the third. Most people, just do the math. The third one usually wipes them out.
Yeah.
Now here's the beautiful thing about real estate. You're going to have some people going to watch this interview and it's going to get triggered. Well, I'm glad I bought my property in 2019 and I got a 2%, 3% interest rate. I paid $300,000 for it. It's worth $700,000. You know what my response is? And? It means nothing. Why? Because you can't touch it. Why? Because you barely could afford the payments at the 2%, 3% interest rate. So you got numbers on paper. You can't do anything with it. So it means nothing, right? Then you also have people that they maybe bought their property 20 years ago. The beautiful thing about real estate, if you watch, no matter how many dips, ups and downs, long-term real estate goes up. So if you can hold on to real estate long enough, your mistake will look like a genius later. But we're all fairly, I'd like to say young people, right? I want to reap my benefits too. I want to enjoy my life too, right? I want to get that level of freedom too. My parents bought their homes in their late 30s and early 40s. My father is in his 80s now. My mother is in her mid-70s, and they just paid off their house. Just paid off their house. You know that's what most people end up doing. So you know who gets the quote-unquote benefit? The next generation. The next generation doesn't even understand how hard they worked for it. That's why they squander it, and then they sell it to somebody for pennies on the dollar. You get what I'm saying? So the education is so much more important than anything else because once you have the education, no matter what you are, where you are, what you're doing, there's always going to be an avenue for you to do better because you understand it here now.
Absolutely. Dope. So anyone who's listened to this episode and falls into the pitfalls that you're warning them about, it's basically that they were paying attention and that they were hard-headed because there's so much that you told us today in over 30 minutes that is a masterclass. But for somebody who wants to be able to learn more, where are they going to find it?
I mean, on Instagram, or social media, if you go to @mybest197, you watch me on social media. Every day I put up some current informations, or I talk about what I'm experiencing, or what tenant didn't pay me rent, or what property of mine burned down, and here's how I navigated it.
You're going to give them the real.
I give them that, and listen, man, if you're looking for somebody that's solid, you're looking for somebody that really gives a damn about you, you want somebody that's going to tell you the truth regardless how hard of a pill it is to swallow. I come second to nobody in this industry. Nobody. And I mean this as humble as possible. Humble as possible. I'm not here to say I'm the biggest. I'm not the baddest. I'm the hottest. But I'm not the biggest. I'm not the baddest. I'm not here to rub and say whose portfolio is bigger than mine. I don't care. I don't care. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel freedom. I want you to feel that you can breathe because where we entering now, because you did ask me about 2026. So many people are asking, is it going to be a crash? Is it going to be a correction or not? Who cares? What is going to happen is what we were doing yesterday is over. The gravy train of how things were moving is over. The majority of the people are going to be sitting on the sidelines doing nothing because they're either fearful or they can't or they don't know. The ones that will truly be willing to do something, you are going to change your life. You are going to change your life. So majority of people won't. Just make sure it ain't you that don't. because the opportunities are gonna be here for you. Just align yourselves up with solid, beautiful people like these 4 beautiful people on here. Do your education, make the people prove it to you. Whatever they claim that they do, be tactical on what you're doing, be intentional on what you're doing, and come out here and come get this real estate, you know?
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah.
Welby, thank you so much, my brother. This was a great episode.
Great episode.
And thank you for tuning in. This is another great episode of Boro4Boro. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us for more so that you can continue getting gems like this. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
What do you really need to know about buying or selling a home? First, it's serious business. And it's complicated. There's a lot of money on the table, and emotion too. You need an agent who knows the ropes. So, whether you're buying or selling your home, work with professionals who have a mastery of the craft.